Respiratory viruses are some of the most common viruses to affect humans. We know them most commonly through the seasonal flu and the notable pandemics we have seen throughout history as well as in the present. Let's dive into some of the more prominent respiratory viruses, including human respiratory syncytial virus, or HRSV, human parainfluenza virus, or HPIV, rhinovirus, respiratory adenovirus, and coronavirus, which can be both related and unrelated to SARS. These viruses can exhibit similar symptoms, but they are distinguished in their origins. HRSV belongs to the genus Pneumovirus. HPIV is classified into types 1 through 4, with types 1 and 3 belonging to the genus Respirovirus and types 2 and 4 belonging to the genus Rubeolavirus. Rhinovirus, which is most commonly detected in patients with common colds, belongs to the genus of its own name. Adenovirus belongs to the genus Mastadenovirus, and the coronavirus is also of the genus of its own name. It is important to note that of these viruses, HRSV and coronaviruses are notable for having zoonotic origins. Another distinguishing factor among these viruses is the method of transmission. HRSV, HPIV, and the rhinovirus are all transmitted through close contact, and HRSV and HPIV can both be transmitted by large droplets or particle aerosols. Adenoviruses are notable for being able to stay stable for weeks at room temperature and for years at 20 degrees Celsius or colder. Both types of coronaviruses are transmitted through the respiratory pathway, though SARS coronaviruses have high transmission rates in hospital settings, where patients are being helped by medical staff with intubation tubes and other ventilatory machines. Seasonal changes, as well as distinct human behavior, are causes for spikes in transmission. As these viruses are transmitted from one person to another, they can be identified by common cold symptoms, including cough, sore throat, fever, and in more severe cases, pharyngitis, pneumonia, bronchiolitis, and more. Coronavirus, specifically COVID-19, is unique in that it causes a loss of taste and smell as well. Respiratory viruses in the past have been responsible for key pandemics such as the 1918 Spanish flu, the early 2000 SARS outbreak, the 2009 swine flu pandemic, as well as the 2012 MERS outbreak. The Spanish flu was first noted in the spring of 1918 in Europe, the United States, and pockets through Asia, and it quickly became a global threat. It was caused by the H1N1 virus with avian origin. The virus affected 500 million people with 50 million deaths worldwide. At the time, there were no medical treatments available for the virus, so efforts were limited to isolation, quarantine, hygiene practices, and they were not organized efforts. The pandemic came to an end the summer of 1918.
In 2003, the SARS outbreak took a hold in China and went on to kill over 8,000 people across the globe. It was thought to have mutated from a coronavirus that affected small mammals. It came to an end in the summer, though cases showed up as late as 2004. There was no antiviral developed. In 2009, swine flu pandemic caused by H1N1 influenza virus was first detected in the US. There were 60.8 million cases with over 500,000 deaths worldwide. Many of the deaths affected those under 65, likely because those older than 65 had immunity of past viral infections. It was derived from viruses from pigs, birds, and humans. The flu vaccine helped mitigate the spread, but it was still deemed a pandemic with the number of deaths. In 2012, the MERS outbreak, also caused by coronavirus, was identified in the Middle East. It passed from camels and humans and claimed over 800 deaths. This pandemic really brought to light the importance of quick and efficient testing. There was no treatment developed for this outbreak as well.
Most recently, the world has been met with COVID-19 caused by SARS-CoV-2, or Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2, first seen in 2003. Viral pneumonia infections started in Wuhan, China in December, and by January, Chinese authorities determined that outbreaks have been caused by a novel coronavirus. In February, the WHO announced that the disease caused by a novel coronavirus is named COVID-19, and in March, the WHO declared the coronavirus outbreak as a global pandemic. The origin is likely from bats, but the virus might have moved into humans via an intermediate animal host. The virus is enveloped, has single-stranded RNA genome, and is non-segmented, and has spike proteins that bind to ACE2 receptors on human cells. It is a lytic virus that hijacks the cell, makes new copies, and destroys human cells. Mutation occurs easily with 5 different variants of concern of COVID-19, best known as alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and omicron, though there are many more that exist. The best way to defeat COVID-19 is to reach herd immunity, when a large portion of the community becomes immune to disease, making it unlikely to spread the virus, through either vaccination or natural infection.
Created using Powtoon.